Hello Internet! Around here I go by Cat of Diamonds, and welcome to my FannishReviews. This is the first installment of my May wrap-up. I have finished 2 books in the last few days. I say finished them. I did read the majority of one and about half of the other. It took me about a week to read The Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard, and it's not because this book is bad. It's because my life is crazy right now. I'm working so much, so it wasn't a lot of time to read, and then I just buckled down and finished the second half of this book. The Glass Sword is book 2 in the Red Queen series. Red Queen is a book I own. However, I did get Glass Sword from the library because Abby broke right now, so it's gotta go back, which means I gotta talk about it, so here we are. However, because it's the second book in a series, I won't be too spoilery about it. So if you have read Red Queen, this book picks up within 24 to 48 hours, 72, something like that, right after the Red Queen ends. So there is zero time wasted into what's the aftermath of the crazy climax that was the first book. That being said, the pacing is a little rough, and because Mare is our point of view, there are some time jumps. If she's unconscious, then we're unconscious too, and there's a little bit more exposition to kind of catch up with what happened over the last 4 days. I think another reason that this book had a little bit of a lull in reading for me was that pacing, because of the political climate and everything that has to happen to move the story forward. We kind of jump ahead. That being said, still so much happens in this book. Mere pages in, we are already fighting for our lives. I say we because clearly I'm a part of the character's journey. And true to form, just in like the first book, this book makes you want to read the next book immediately as soon as it ends. Lighting changed because in the course of filming this video, the sun has gone behind clouds and it's not coming back out again before it goes behind the mountains. The second book I finished this month was The Clockwork Princess by Cassandra, Clare, the third and final book in the Dark Artifice, nope, not the Infernal Devices trilogy. Could you tell what I'm reading right now? You'll hear about that one in my next installment of these videos. So for now, let's talk about this book. I've got to say, I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was a great ending to this trilogy, a great adventure to the end of this storyline. It's a decent sized book, not compared to the Lady Midnight book right now, but oh my gosh, stop looking at a cat and talk to this video. I'm not a big shipper, but if you've read this book, you know what I'm talking about when I say I'm really happy how the relationships ended in this book. I was crying during the epilogue, and because this is book 3 of 3, I really can't talk about much more than that. So I guess you'll see me in my next installment. So it's May 18th, and I'm standing in front of my bookcase because I just finished Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. It took like a week for me to read between my work schedule and being sick. I feel really bad that I'm in a state of illness and talking to you, but I need to take this back to the library because it's due soon. I really had hoped to make a full review, but then life happened and I'm sick. However, there are some amazing spoilery reviews online at eLizzie Books, and I think, what else? I watched someone else's. I will say that I agree that you can read this book without reading any of the other series set in the Shadowhunter universe, but it is better if you do. There are even some ties in this book to some of the shorter novellas that have been released that I didn't even know about and need to go find now because I want to know more. But that is exactly how I felt about reading this book. While it took up a lot of time, because with this short novella included in this book, it's like 700 pages. So good. I cannot wait to the next one. I do have a few more novellas that I can read until April 2017 when the second book comes out. But I do highly, highly recommend it. If you are a fan of Cassandra Clare, absolutely. And if you didn't like the first 2 or 3, or just even the first series, the Immortal Instruments series, I still really would like to suggest this to you because this is by far like the best written book. It's well paced. The character development, I mean, like there was time to develop some characters. But again, it would be nice to have the knowledge of the previous series. I have now learned my lesson that I need to read all of the things when they're released before reading the next thing that's released because spoilers. Do with that what you will. I have to go to bed. It is May 20th and as you might be able to glean, I am sick. I finished this book earlier today. It's called Walk the Earth a Stranger by Ray Carson. I rated it a 3 on Goodreads. It's really like a 3.5. It is a magical historical fiction about the gold rush, and it falls around this girl named Lee who has the ability to find gold wherever it is. It's just a sense. Through tragedy, she decides to take her skills west to follow the gold rush, and this book is book 1 in a trilogy or a saga. It is gritty at times. It is very good. She's a strong character, but there's just storytelling parts that didn't captivate me as much as others, so I kind of skimmed those, and I know that makes me a bad reader, or that could make me a bad reader, but I did that, and that's why I didn't rate it like higher, is because there were times where I just wasn't as into it, but I really did enjoy the story. I'm glad that I finished it. It was a relatively quick read, and I will be reading the next one. But it is a library book, it's got to go back, and I need to film 3 more videos before I give my voice a rest. So I'll check back in after my next book. And here we are at the end of May, and the only thing I finished reading was Rat Queens, the 3rd volume called Demons, and I love Rat Queens so much. It is a very rated R graphic novel. It's the only graphic novel I collect, and it is so wonderful. The characters are so well rounded. They come to you with a complete backstory. Really, all the characters are super complex, but they are strong female characters, and lots of swearing and sex and drugs and alcohol, and I never expected to love this so much. I finished reading it. Rat Queens, that's the last book I read this month. June is actually a very hectic month for me. It's the beginning of the summer at work, as well as travel is coming up, so I don't know how good of a reading month it's going to be. I hope it is excellent. I definitely enjoy making updates like this one. It really helps me out with the crazy hectic life that I feel like I'm having right now at work, and then with all my other stuff going on that I like to do. So I think these updates are going to stick around for a little while. I hope you're enjoying them, and until my next video, happy reading!